And we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Hey, dream builders. Super excited that you guys are here. I'm super excited because we've got an awesome guest today. Ooh, look at me. And y'all know I'm tech challenged. I don't have the sound on my own video. All right. So we're super excited because tonight we've got an awesome expert, Nicole Robert Jones, NRJ. I feel like I'm going to say, hey, NRJ. I don't know why. I just like, I like letters. So let me tell you a little bit about Nicole. Well, for those of you who are new dream builders, welcome, because we're always getting a bunch of new dream builders which are Academy members every single week. So welcome, new dream builders. This is Ask the Expert. I should start doing that from now on, like letting you know how Ask the Expert works. The way it works is that once a week, we bring on a dope expert, and that expert walks us through their expertise. I try to find experts that you guys specifically ask for, and you guys are always asking for business advice. The Ask the Expert, and really the Academy itself, it's supposed to be a buffet of greatness, meaning that I will bring you bits and pieces and tidbits of all of these awesome lessons that you can learn. You know, how to start a business, side hustling, investing, cryptocurrencies, how to get press, how to negotiate, all of these things. And I bring you all these dope instructors and experts and stuff. And then from that buffet, you can kind of pick and choose what restaurant you want to go to. So all of the experts and instructors that I choose do this like for real. This is not a hobby. 90% of them have their own business in that particular topic. Those that don't either are like a professor or teacher or otherwise, because I want that if you're ready to dive in, that you can dive in with this person knowing that this is what they do and they can support you. So tonight we have Nicole Robert Jones. She is uniquely gifted at one thing, drawing out the best that's in you and helping you to take your brilliance to the bank. Oh, I love that. That sounds like Live Richer to me. From her early days in the entertainment industry and talent management and casting, she is the creator of the Fierce Formula. Yes. And now works with entrepreneurs to create multiple streams of income from what they already know in order to build an empire from their expertise. Hello. Y'all know I used to be a preschool teacher. Now look what I do, right? Expertise in teaching. Additionally, she works with corporations to assure their executives and middle managers align their purpose with their paycheck, push their internal edge, and step into the true power of their gifts and talents at work. She's nationally recognized as a transformational speaker, best-selling author, and Bankroll Your Brilliance coach. She also is the founder and CEO of the Fierce Factor Lab with over 25 years, right, Nicole? We just talked about that. Mm-hmm. Years of experience working with entrepreneurs, corporations, executives, heads of state, celebrities, nonprofit directors, talent, and program development. Her clients include Steve Harvey World Group, General Motors, McDonald's, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Lisa Nichols, and Motivating the Masses, Coach Diversity Institute, and the Boss Network, and Working Moms Magazine, to name a few, to name a ton. Basically, she is bad, she is a boss, she is brilliant, and you're welcome that I brought her on board. Yes. Welcome, Nicole. How are you today?
I'm so excited to be here. And I love your energy. I love your energy, right? So I'm like I talk fast already. So I'm going to try to like not get as excited with you so you guys can understand what the heck I'm saying. So yay, thank you for having me.
So but just y'all can hear, right? I just want to make sure. You can hear me. Somebody say, I can hear you. All right, so we're going to get started. So Nicole is good. First of all, when you say bankroll your brilliance, what does that mean?
So, let me start by telling you how I even got to that conversation. So so many of us discount our greatness. We overlook it. We think, oh, doesn't everybody do that? And so because we discount what we're really, really great at, we don't often monetize it or ask for a sale or package it into all the ways we can serve the world with it. So that's what I mean by your brilliance. I believe we all were born to this world with a gift. Okay. And it's up to us to learn how to fully develop it and stand unapologetically in it. Okay. So that's what I mean by brilliance.
I love that.
And I have to tell you that, I've been doing this for next year to be 25 years, even though I'm still 25. But, I'm saying this because it took me 17 years to learn how to bankroll my own brilliance.
Okay.
17. So, you know, for all intensive purposes, I started my career journey in 1993. Now, Tiffany, you know, I can talk, girl, so stop me if I'm talking too much, okay? So, so I started doing this in 1993. And by 2010, I looked really successful. I had 10 chapters in 10 states of my youth program. So I used to have a nonprofit working with teenage girls.
Okay.
So I had 10 chapters in 10 states, and that was growing by leaps and bounds. My for-profit, which was coaching women to grow their businesses, I had a maxed out coaching client roster, meaning I couldn't take another client. And so, you know, I thought, well, let me write a book. So my first book came out in 2010, thinking I can give that book out as, you know, sharing my principles with women and making it a fundraiser for my nonprofit. So I'm telling you all of that because that looked really successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
That plus now I'm getting invitations to speak all over the country. So every weekend I'm either going to a women's symposium, an entrepreneurial conference. I'm going to meet with another church. My youth program was faith-based. Going to meet with another church to start another chapter of my youth program. But here's why I'm telling you this story. I was doing all of that, but I was only making $13,000 a year.
What? Why? How?
13,000 because I literally was only packaging my gift one way. Now, number one, I was discounting it. So half the time I wasn't asking for the sale, right?
Okay.
So all those speaking events I didn't get paid for any of them. I flew myself to every speaking event.
What?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because I was scared to ask for the sale. I'm being honest, right? Number one. Number two, I had a max out coaching client roster. Let me tell y'all the real truth, since we're friends now, right? I had 5 coaching clients. Now, let me tell you why I only had 5. Because I was only packaging my gift one way. And because I was traveling so much, and because I had a daytime job to pay for my nighttime calling, keeping it all the way real, right? I couldn't take on more than 5 clients. So of course, how could I ever make more money if I only had the bandwidth to do 5 people, you know, pretty much a quarter.
Okay. So I can see that because I remember a friend of mine who's very successful, well, on the outskirts. You know, she was all over the place, speaking all over the place. And I remember a couple of years ago, this is someone who has huge following, but she said, Tiffany, you know, I just made $100,000. This will be my first year making $100,000. Now, that's a lot of money. But I honestly at the time had a much smaller following, and I was already like in my second or third year of making $100,000 with like maybe not even 1/4 of her following. And I remember thinking, why is she only making this? And that's what it was, that she was only focused on one aspect of her business. For those of you who has a business or wants to have a business, say I do in the comments, you know, like let us know, do you have a business or want to have a business? Because we're going to work through how you can make sure that you maximize your brilliance as it relates to your business. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, so, you know, I remember it was November 7th, 2010. Okay. It was like the first Sunday of November. I had just gotten home from another speaking weekend where I had been traveling and speaking. I can't remember what event it was, but I had just gotten home and I was tired. And my daytime job, I was a professor. I was teaching program development at Boston University at the time. And I thought, how the heck am I going to get up? My class was at 8 a.m. on Monday, and I hadn't even thought about what lesson I was going to teach the next day. And this is Sunday night, you guys. And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm making $13,000. So it's not like I could quit teaching. I needed to do that so I could eat, right? And so literally, I remember saying, I'm done. I can't do this. And the reason I'm really, really passionate about what I'm going to share with you tonight during this hangout is I literally didn't realize that, number one, I was only packaging my gift one way.
Okay.
And what I've learned since then is the reason why most entrepreneurs fail is the same reason.
I was going to say
you only have so many hours in a day. So if you only have so many hours in a day, so if I have 8 hours in a day to work, well, technically I have 24, right? Okay. So I got to sleep for 8, so that leaves me 16. Now, nobody works for 16 hours. So it's not like I can have 16 clients every day, right? You know, in order to have a business, there's other things you have to do. So I couldn't figure out how the heck I could monetize this thing and make it fruitful, right?
Okay.
And literally, I remember saying, okay, Lord, if this is really what I'm supposed to do, you better show me something. And that's how I pray, because I pray like I talk. I was frustrated. I was done. I was ready to quit, but I felt in conflict because I know this is what I was born to do, right? And so to make a really long story short, I got invited to go to a conference. At the conference, I met a coach. I hired that coach. Now, she costs 3 times what I made a year. Let me keep it all the way real. So how the heck did I pay for it? To this day, all I know is I couldn't afford it, but I couldn't afford not to do it. because I couldn't be there another year. I thought, I've been doing this for 17 years. I've done everything I know to do. I've been working really, really hard and running in place because $13,000 is below the poverty level.
Yes. And so that's the number one. So, because we have our core takeaways. So the number one reason why most entrepreneurs fail in business, and the critical factor you need to be successful, is you have to have multiple ways that you are monetizing your brilliance.
And you know, the other thing that I learned is I had to find someone that was 10 steps ahead of me, because you know, without that, there's so much more than just understanding that you have to have more than one stream of income. You know, most multimillionaires don't tell you they always have more than one stream of income, right? They always have more than one business going, but you got to get one business running successfully before you start another one. And you need to have multiple streams of income in the first one before you start the second one, right? I have a girlfriend that has twins, and every time I go to her house, I'm ready to go as soon as I get there because it's too much. So you don't have two businesses starting them at the same time. Let one grow.
No twins.
Right. Let it get to teenage stage and then start the second one.
Yes, it's true. So this is what I call, so meanwhile, I know exactly what you mean, because my husband is a twin. His twin was over last night. It was too much then. I was like, I'm going to be upstairs, y'all.
Girl, my husband's a twin too. My husband's a twin too. How funny is that? We talk more about that offline. We can probably share stories. But it's a lot. So imagine when they were little. My mother-in-law told me one time she just had to leave because she just couldn't take it. She just had to get in the car and leave.
I just don't even know. Yeah. And so imagine that with your businesses. Right. That your businesses are twin boys, because y'all know how crazy and wild boys can be. And that if you're trying to raise them at the same time, it is nearly impossible. You know,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, what's interesting is just that. Plus, here's the other thing. So the first thing I want you guys to get is the reason why most entrepreneurs fail is because they only have one stream of income. But here's the second reason. I'm going to go right in and go on to the second, is that you have two. It's like you are going to a buffet. I love you said that earlier, right? But you're trying to eat everything. You putting everything on your plate. So it's like, oh, I need sales, I'm gonna get sales. Oh, I need marketing, I'm gonna get marketing. Oh, I need a website, I'm gonna get a website. It's like you're doing all these things, but you don't have a blueprint that you're working from. So let me tell you what I mean by blueprint. So imagine if we were building a house and somebody said, oh, get the top of the line roof. And I go by the roof, right? I'm not looking at the walls the roof is going to go on. I'm not looking at any of that. The insulation the roof has, is it going to be the same as and I'm saying stuff, you guys know I'm not in construction, so this stuff may not be right. So the insulation is not the same as the roof. And that's what so many entrepreneurs do when they start their business. They just start grabbing stuff instead of understanding what their gift is. So your gift, the way your business will be successful is all about positioning your gift the right way to the right people that need that gift in you. And without understanding the blueprint and creating what I call a formula from your blueprint, everything else you get, sales, marketing, everything will fail because you don't understand what your gift is and how to actually serve people through it.
So let's start to get specific, because I'm a school teacher at heart. And so I like to say, like, one of the reasons why I know y'all love the academy is because you guys are going to get tangible, actionable things. So here I was. So let's give advice to Tiffany when she first started. Here I was, a school teacher. One of my brilliance was I was a good teacher because I had done it for 10 years. I was a master teacher. The other aspect of my brilliance was I grew up in a financially literate household, and I was really good at basic money management. Right? And so in the beginning, just like you, I had one way. I was like, I'm going to teach you, one person sitting in front of me, how to budget.
Right.
And that got old real fast, because at first I was like, and if people were like, I don't have 200. I said, well, 150. I have one person got me down to $50, and I was with her for 4 hours. I said, I could have been asleep for all of this,
Right.
So what advice would you give to that person who was still in the one-on-one stage about, so what do I go from here? I have this gift, but this is not making enough money to sustain me. What's the next step?
So I love this. So I'm going to give you what I call my fierce framework. By the way, let me explain to you guys what fierce is, so it won't be the elephant in the room, right? So the reason I call my company Fierce Factor Lab is, of course, you know who Beyonce is. And when she's standing on stage, she's Sasha Fierce, right? So when Beyonce is standing on stage, she's standing in the full power of her gift, right? She's doing the thing she was born to do unapologetically. So my goal is every woman that I'm blessed to work with, that she stands in the full power of her gift, right? Unapologetically. So I'm only sharing that with you because what I'm going to do is walk you through what I call my fierce framework to help you understand what your gift is. Those of you that aren't sure, I want to do this first and then give you the clarity on how to move it forward. That's okay. Because I know all of you guys are in different places. Some of you probably have had successful careers, right? And now you want to go and start your exit strategy and you don't know how to begin. So you begin with this, again, my fierce framework. So it's 4 steps. So first is, what are you passionate about? Like, what do you love? What could you do for hours on hours on hours? Now, 9 times out of 10, that thing that you are passionate about is something that you loved when you were little.
Okay.
Something that you did. So if I use myself for an example, and my book just so happens to be behind me. So this is in my Find Your Fierce book. So there's a picture. The reason I say is there's a picture of me in this book when I was 4 or 3 rather, and I'm pushing this carriage. And most people, most kids, most little girls that's pushing a baby carriage, what do they have in a baby carriage?
Baby.
A baby. When I had books and papers. Because I've been a natural born producer. Even if you ask any of my friends I grew up with on my street, I'm from Inglewood, California, and Inglewood in the house, right? South Central LA in the house. So literally, I would be the friend that if we said we were playing Batman and Robin, I'd go, okay, Tiffany, you're going to be Batman and I'm going to be Robin and you're going to be the bad guy and then I'd set the whole scene. Who does that? Me, because that's the way I think. I think in pictures, but that's the same thing I do as a coach, as I can see your gift and begin to see how to produce it. If that makes sense. So I had to stop for my own self in that moment when I was realizing I was only making $13,000 and stop and do these 4 things. So 1, what do you love? The second is, what are you really, really great at? What's your proficiency? So this, I'm going to tell you, 9 times out of 10, your friends are calling you. They see that gift and go, ooh, let me run this idea past you, or your coworkers, let me tease this out with you. Tiffany, you probably have people calling you like, girl, can you help me with my budget?
Yes.
You know, so it happens all the time. You wonder why your boss keeps putting you on the special assignments. Well, your boss sees the gift in you, right? So your passion, your proficiency have to correlate. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm always going to use myself as an example. So I love to shop, love it. So in that moment where I was dazed and confused about my business, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I'm going to try something else out, and I thought I was going to be a stylist now. So I went back to school to start learning how to be a stylist. And I'm going to tell you, my first class I was sitting in, and they started talking about texture and material and thread count. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about thread count. I don't care about texture. I just want to know that it's cute. And then I realized I only really care about if it looks good on me.
Okay.
So that moves you to my 3rd point, passion, proficiency. What problem does it solve? Now, here's the thing. If you love it and you're great at it, and again, those 2 have to correlate. By the way, I still love shopping. I'm just not great at it for anybody else but me. So I can't solve a problem for anybody else if I can't help anybody else with it. So you've got to understand that that gift in you is the answer people have been looking for. And every day you don't stand in the power of your gift, you're late for work. You're holding up somebody's blessing. You're holding up, you are somebody's unanswered prayer. Right?
I love that. Somebody type that in. I am somebody's unanswered prayer. Type that in now.
Right. Because literally what I had to begin to realize, even for my own self, and here's the other thing people do, we discount it. We say things like, oh, everybody knows how to do that. Nobody's going to pay me. Now, let me ask you, how many of you guys go to, let me use myself an example again. So I have a dentist that I go to, right? And literally while she is doing my teeth, we're talking Love and Hip Hop. And yes, I watch Love and Hip Hop, right? I watch every reality show. And so she's a white, older Jewish woman. And what would you think that she would know anything about Love and Hip Hop? But girl, she is all in it and going in my teeth. And I'm not talking. I can't talk, right? And I love her because she's funny. She makes me laugh. And there's tons of other dentists out in the world, but I'm always going to go to Dr. Lombardo because she makes me laugh, right? So yes, there are other people that have your gift. Yes, there are other people that know how to do what you do. But when you are unapologetic about it, that's what makes you different. When you start to bring your uniqueness to it, right? And that's where we come with our last P, which is how do you profit from it? So first, again, it's what are you passionate about? What's your proficiency? What are you really, really great at? Those 2 have to correlate. You can't have one without the other, right? What problem does it solve? And then how do you make profit from it? Now, here's the thing with the profit. And I am going to give you guys a free gift because there's no way. I was telling Tiffany, there's so much I can share with you about how to make profit from it. And I don't have visual aids and I talk fast and you'd be asking me to repeat what I said and I won't remember what I said. So I'm going to walk you through all the ways you can make profit from it. But here's the thing. You've got to at least have 4 or 5 streams of income in order for your business to be profitable. Most people will tell you to go write a book, right? And a book is great, a great visibility strategy, which you need as well. But I'm going to tell you right now, a book is not going to make you any money unless you get a great big book deal. And most people don't get those these days.
Well, you have a huge following.
Like, still, because if you want a huge following, it's going to take you time to get to a huge book sale. So within the course of a year, your first year, You're not gonna make enough money to pay your mortgage.
My first book did not. My first book didn't. My second book, made good money, and it's now my third and fourth book, but only because it's literally $500,000, a million of y'all buying the book,
Right, because you have a huge platform now, but it took you time. Over
2 years, I made nothing off my book, so yes.
Mm-hmm. And so I remember my first book, let me tell you, so my mother-in-law was my editor. My mother-in-law is a retired college professor. I didn't know she sent my book to a publishing house. So I got a call. I'm all excited, like, yeah, my book is going to be published. So I was going to self-publish my first book. Mm-hmm. So when I got, so when my book came out, my publisher called me one day and said, oh my God, you're the best selling at our publishing house. Oh my God. So I was so excited thinking I'm getting ready to be a big baller. I'm about to get my big baller check. I'm so excited. Cabbage patching over here. Mm-hmm. I get my check. My first quarter of book sales, it was $300.
Wow.
What could you, and I'm the best selling author. Now, mind you, that's after they took all their money out of it. Hello, right? Mm. So literally, what could you do with $300?
Not a daggone thing.
I can't, maybe groceries for a couple weeks, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you really got to look at how and in what ways, in regards to those 4 P's I just walked you through again: passion, proficiency, problem, profit. How do you take all of that, package your brilliance, and begin to look at how, especially your profit, how do you create at least 5 streams of income from it? Okay. And one of those needs to be what I call making money while you sleep. Okay. So literally I have, and I know you do too, Tiffany, have online programs where I'm not present. Okay. See, my problem in my business is I had to be present to coach. Okay. I had to be. So when I was traveling all over the country, speaking in certain chapters of my youth program, the reason I can only take 5 clients is that I was doing other things. Mm. So if you don't at least have 1 or 2 of those income streams available where you're not present, meaning it's an online program where you record it, is one and done. So literally I have online programs. Somebody's watching one of my online programs right now while I'm talking to you, right? So you've got to, and I call that making money while you sleep, because I literally, I remember the first time I got a call from some international person, not a call, email, and from a woman in Singapore wanting to do a discovery call with me because she was in my program. And I was like, what, how did you find out about me? So you got to be able to really, literally serve people where you're not present. Okay. So that, again, when I talk about problem you solve, the other thing, if I give you another example of another way, is Deborah Tillman, the super nanny. I was blessed to work with her. Okay. And, she's getting all these speaking engagements and she can't serve families like she wants to. And then, quite frankly, some families can't afford her. So for her, I taught her I had to begin to show her the disservice she was doing by not packaging her brilliance online. Every time you tell somebody I can't work with you, whether it's financial, because they can't afford you, or whether it's of your time, you're doing somebody a disservice. Again, you're an unanswered prayer. So when someone can't afford you, you can say, hey, but you can do my program online. That's obviously going to be cheaper because you're not present. Yeah. But you still are able to serve them.
So let's break down some of the ways. What are some ways that that people can get started? Like, okay, what are some of these ways that I can expand past me just physically being there?
So, well, first, in order to get started, I really am adamant about you making sure you understand what your blueprint is. Okay. Because if you develop a program, and I'm going to tell you, I've developed a program right when my coach told me that, and I didn't sell it because I didn't stop and figure out what my own blueprint is. So everything I tell you is because I failed first, so you didn't have to. So you don't have to. So literally, first stopping and making sure you understand what your blueprint is, meaning your formula. So literally, when people come to you, they come to you with a symptom, and they see you as the solution. Yeah. So it's creating a formula that goes from symptom to solution. That's one. Second is then looking at all the ways that you can serve people. So once you understand what your formula is, it's saying, okay, well, if I give myself for an example, I have a 6-step formula. Okay. So my first 2 steps are really helping you understand what your gift is. Okay. That's my online program.
Okay. So formula, is it like a funnel?
So no, formula is really what kind of like your blueprint, your system. So like Tiffany, when people come to you, there are certain things that you do first, second, third, fourth. Yeah. So it's so you have a whole formula that you walk people through. And what's interesting is, even if I use Deborah Tillman again for an example, the super nanny, she had been doing this work with families. The only reason I'm using Deborah is everybody probably knows who she is, right? And we know she's been working with families, but she didn't realize she had a formula.
Yeah, you don't even realize. So you said it. I said, wait, because it's true. One of my first formulas when you come to me is that you usually do one of my free Live Richer challenges. Right. You go through the challenge, and in doing the challenge, one, you learn about me. You learn to fix one of your problems. You get embedded into the Dreamcatcher culture. You join the group. And then also you're added to our goodie email list, which goes out every Wednesday. So that's like another step in the formula. And then so as you go through the formula, part of the formula is now you're here. You're a dream builder. You've bought the Live Richer Academy. So you're right. I never thought about it as a formula, that these are the things, these are the ways when people kind of enter, they first meet me, and I walk them down different, like, I guess, down the path of the Budgetnista.
It's steps. And the thing, it makes it's beneficial on both ends.
Yes.
So what I mean by that is when people first come in, and I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. So when people first come in, if you don't know what your gift is, and you go through my online, it's called Position to Profit program. If you go through that program and you don't do the work, then you don't get to be in my group. Because now I know you're not going. Because then once you understand what your gift is, now it's time to create your formula around it, right? So if you're not willing to do the work here, why would I then say yes to you here? Right. So it's kind of, it allows you, because like I know you, Tiffany, that you pour all the way in. So if they don't go through the challenge and then get here, then you know they're not ready.
Yep.
Right. So why would you pour all your resources into someone and they're not willing to invest their time and energy? Right. And so it's the same thing. So a couple different ways is you have to look at what's the through the door, you know, when they walk through the door of your business, what's the first thing they need? And your formula creates that. And then what's the second, what's the third, what's the fourth? And so once you begin to see that and you begin to package that, begins to become all the different ways people can work with you through your business. Now, some people will come and maybe they've already done the first two steps, right? They just move into 3 and 4. So it allows you also an assessment process so that you know where they fit in your business. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And then it makes it easier too. So for me, you know, before I had a formula, I was just doing whatever, whenever, however. And be honest with you, because I was struggling, I was taking any money. Not all money ain't good money, right? So anybody who's coming to me, I was like, yeah, I can coach you. And it wouldn't feel good. It'd be a struggle, right? I remember a woman, and I'm not a starter business coach. What I mean by that is if you're going to ask me, should you be an S Corp or LLC, I'm going to send you to a lawyer or accountant. That's not me, right? But I remember a woman came to me and wanted all that. I was like, yeah, I can help you with that. I had no business coaching her. I ended up giving her money back because I felt like a fraud, and I was, because that's not my expertise. So when you have a formula, then you stay true to it. That's why I call it your fierce formula, because you got to be unapologetic. I don't do this. Like if someone calls me and wants to understand budgets, then you go talk to the Budgetnista. I can't help you with that. Now, of course, as a CEO of my own business, of course I can budget. Of course I know how to budget, but I don't like teaching that. Don't enjoy it. I don't even try to teach it. So it's being clear on what your gift is and what it's not, and staying true to that.
I like that. Okay. And so we figure out a formula. You know, we figure out what my gift is, right? Where my brilliance lies. And then figuring out the formula, like what answer, like what question am I answering? What pain point am I fixing in someone's life? So now I'm figuring out, okay, what my formula is. Now that I've done that, now what?
Then you begin to create income around it. Begin to look at all the different programming you can create. So I know I'm being vague, but so like, for instance, when I just talked about, I have a 6-step formula. So my first 2 steps of my formula is my first program, which is an online program. Okay. Then my second 2 steps is a group program. So I can coach multiple people instead of one-on-one, because again, one-on-one takes up so much of my time. You don't get one-on-one with me until you get into my 3rd tier programming in my business, right? And then there's strategy days and other things like that. But you've got to look at what are all the different ways. And because everybody's different, there's no cookie cutter approach. So the way I do programming is going to be different than the way Tiffany does programming, because you teach money and budget and all kind of other things, right? So the way that an image consultant or a lawyer, even, I had a client, a lawyer who came to me who was a family practice lawyer. And she wanted to know, well, you can't help me. I said, yes, I can. How many people do you turn away? Well, first I asked her, what's the major thing you do? And she said, divorce. I said, okay. How many people do you turn away because they can't afford you? And she looked at me. I said, yeah, girl, you can do an online divorce program where you walk them through all the things they feel like. You can't guarantee that they're going to go one way or the other, but at least you can tell them what the steps to walk through, right?
Yeah.
Then you can also do a group where you walk women or families through custody, she was like, oh my God. So you've got to begin to look at all the different ways you serve people and how you can package it where you're not present or, because you should do both, not present or group. In addition to one-on-one. One-on-one should be the highest, most expensive way someone can work with you.
And it's so crazy because so many of us, isn't it so crazy that so many of us start with one-on-ones and make that the cheapest? It's like, well, that's your time.
But that was what I was doing, and that's why I wasn't making any money. I was charging, I love you said $50. I was charging $50 an hour, right? 5 people. Y'all do the math. That's why I wasn't making no money, right? And literally, I had consulting gigs because my expertise is program development. So I would go out and do consulting contracts and go in businesses and develop programs. But it never dawned on me that I had no programs in my business. Duh. My coach said, Nicole, didn't you tell me that you teach program development? You taught it at USC for 4 years, and now you teach at Boston University? And I said, yeah. And then she said, didn't you tell me you used to have a consulting practice and you go into businesses and develop programs and you're still doing that? And I said, yeah. She said, girl, you don't have any programs. Duh. Right? I had to hire somebody, pay her 3 times what I made for her to show me.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Girl, but had I not done that, I still would be, well, I would have had to quit by now. There's no way I could have continued to burn the midnight oil and do all that I was doing. But here's the thing I want you to get is, number one, you've got to really literally, this is what I'm so passionate about. And this is why I really shifted my business and started teaching this, because I saw that it worked for me. And then I tried it with one of my clients and I tried another one. I said, you know what? I'm shifting all of my business to just do this because I love it. And I see the difference it makes in people's businesses when you truly understand what your gift is and begin to package it and all the ways you can serve people with it.
Okay. So identify your brilliance. You kind of already know what that is. I love the fierce, what was it? Like, as I wrote it down.
Fierce framework.
Right? So what am I passionate about? Typically, it's something that you've loved since you were a child, you know? Like if you kind of look back and tap into that, right?
Right.
And then what are you proficient in? So those things have to go hand in hand. Like, I really love babies, but I'm also really good at, you know, childcare. Or I really love babies, or I really love decorating, but I'm also really good at personal finance, whatever that is. Like, so what you're good at as well as what you're passionate about.
Right.
Right. And then what problem does it solve? So let's just say you created something, but no one else needs that but you. You know, you can't create, like, it's hard to create, to have a full-fledged business on just a personal problem or issue, unless it's a one that other people are also experiencing.
And can I say something about that? Because the thing that is like nails on a chalkboard for me is when someone says, well, I'm gonna tell you what you need. Excuse me, you don't know me. Right? You don't know me and I don't know you. So it's not just understanding what the problem is, but it's also letting the client hear that you see them, right? So it's really spending the time to get to know the need. So instead of you just putting stuff together, I love that you just said that, because just because you think it's a problem doesn't mean someone's going to buy it.
Yep.
So it's really, really, really meeting your client where they are. Not where you want them to be, not where they're supposed to be, where they are right now, and developing from that place. Even your marketing, your visibility strategy should speak from what they say they need, not what you tell them they need.
Yeah.
Big difference. Big difference.
It's one of the reasons why y'all, like, if you are a dream builder, well, obviously you're a dream builder because you're watching, but we're always asking, and I mean, to be all the way transparent, the first year of the academy, we were running off fumes. I was about to close down the academy after the first year and some change because it wasn't doing well. And I could not figure out why, because the Budgetista was doing well, the Dreamcatcher group was doing, everything else was doing well, and the academy was not. And I was like, why? And it finally was someone on the team that said, you operate the academy differently than you operate your other businesses. And I was like, how so? She's like, well, when's the last time you asked the academy members what they wanted? And I was like, you're right. In every other aspect, I asked the Dreamcatchers, I asked y'all in the group. I mean, I was always asking my audience, what do you need? What do you want? What do you need?
Right,
and for some reason, academy, I forgot that. And so I was building what I thought, because I thought to myself, well, I've been doing this for so long with my audience, I know. You know, so I'm trying to build a solution based upon what I know. Right. And I realized you don't know because it's not working.
And not only that, but you, what happens oftentimes, we were our client, but we're no longer our client, right? So now you don't know, you are no longer your client. I was telling somebody that if I could pay myself and coach myself, then I'd be a big baller shot caller, right? But I can't, right? So unless you stay, you know, in the trenches and continue to have conversations. I love you said you ask, and literally every program I develop, I listen to my clients. And I even tell my clients because typically when you're with me, I only let you develop one program. Okay. One at a time. And then the next comes out of conversation with your clients. They're going to tell you what they need next. You have to figure it out.
You have to listen. And then we turned around in like 2 months after, literally, I think I did a Facebook Live. I say, hey, y'all. And I was transparent. The academy sucks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix it. What do you need?
Right.
And you guys were like, ooh, I would like this, and I was just taking notes, and we implemented all of the things that were repeatedly said. And we went from not doing well to killing it within 6 months. And I couldn't believe, like, just asking.
And here's the thing, we think we're the expert, but you're not. Your client is the expert.
Somebody typed that, my client is the expert.
So if you listen and you do exactly what they say you need, now, of course, if you don't do it, then don't do it. Get a great joint venture partner and refer them to them. But if it's something that's within your formula, within your blueprint, then shift your programming to meet that need, or that could be your next program. Mm-hmm. I mean, because literally when you don't listen to your client and you say, no, you don't need that. Doesn't matter. Remember when you were little and your mother would tell you what you needed and didn't need it? And remember how you used to roll your eyes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your clients are doing that to you right now as you tell them what they need and you're not listening.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I love that. And just like, because once you start asking, your client will literally help you to shape and develop the next successful stream of your business. And you won't have to wonder, will it work? Will it do well? You know, because literally people are like, I have my money right here. I'm just waiting on you to make it so I can give you this money.
And they're just waiting to hear what they need come out of your mouth. And it has to be their language and not yours. Yes. I remember after my first coaching session, I told you guys I made $13,000, right? After that first coaching session with my coach, I had a speaking gig 2 days later. The other thing is people think that speaking is going to pay you large checks, and they will once you get to a certain platform, but you got to get there first, right? So up until that point, the way you monetize your speaking is by being able to sell your programs. Now, most speaking events don't let you sell, right? So you're like, well, how do I sell? Well, if you are capturing people's data and they're in your database and making an offer, that makes a difference. But here's what I want you to get. When I had that first coaching session with my coach, and I had a speaking gig 2 days later, and y'all had been speaking. I told you I've been paying for my own, paying chips. I had been paying for my own, I had been paying my whole way, now getting paid. So I said, okay, I'm going to put together a program. And at this speaking event, they let me put together a program. So literally in 2 days, because I can develop programs, no problem. 2 days, I had a whole program done. Go to my first speaking gig. I made $10,000 in a day.
Woohoo!
And mind you, I made $13,000 in a year. So I was like, oh my God. So I went home and I was like on fire. I started developing programs. I went from $13,000 to $200,000 in a year.
That's amazing.
And the only reason I'm sharing that with you is the difference was at first I stopped and said, let me figure out my formula. Now, of course, I didn't say it to myself like that then. I just said, okay, there's a system here. And so I figured out my system. I then began to develop what I heard people saying that they need. And some of those programs I already had, by the way, and nobody was buying them because I was saying, let me tell you what you need, instead of listening and using their language to really, really market it so that they hear. Yeah. Now, what happens, and I know this happens to you too, Tiffany, when people walk to go, oh my God, you said the exact thing I just said to my friend yesterday. Because you're listening. Yep. And as you listen and you use their language, they then hear their need coming out of your mouth. Yes. It's the easiest way for people to say yes to you.
Yes. The best leader is one who's of service.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I always tell my clients, I haven't arrived. I'm not on some mountaintop talking down at you like you want to be here. I'm not, I'm in the journey just like you. I might just be a few steps ahead of you, but I'm still in the journey. I still have a coach. I'm still in a mastermind, so how can I ask you to invest in me if I'm not investing in you? Right? So you've got to realize that as a CEO of your business, if you stand on a mountaintop, nobody feels connected to you. How many times have you been to an event and it's a great speaker and you're so excited, you get there and you're like, I'm not feeling this person, and you don't understand why. It's because they're mountaintop talking to you instead of being there with you. Right? Instead of being real and raw and authentic. And I love that you said your first group didn't work out. That makes people go, oh, well then I don't feel so bad that I don't know what I'm doing, because she just said that her first group was suck. Right? It's like I just said I made $13,000. So now you feel like, oh well shoot, then maybe I can do it. So you've got to be willing to be in the trenches with your people and not act like you've arrived. That's the other critical piece to it all.
Because people have to be, I feel like people are not looking for gurus anymore. They're looking for girlfriends.
Say that. Ooh, that's good. Somebody needs to type that. I'm not looking for guru. I'm looking for a girlfriend. That's good. I feel
like that now more and more. Is that
I need to write that down. Where's my pen?
I always tell like brands when they reach out to me to want to work with me. I said, look, I'm not trying to be someone's financial guru. I'm your financial girlfriend. Right?
I'm writing it down. Keep going. I'm writing.
Because what that means is that, like, because y'all come to me, why? Because you're like, girl, I made every mistake and she's all right. And then as I'm learning, I'm sharing like, oh, y'all, I messed up yesterday. So this is how I fixed it. You know? Because I try to, I think to myself, because I see Nadine, hey, Nadine, she works with us at the Literature Academy, right? And so one of the things I always think to myself is, because we use this messaging system for our team called Slack, that if someone were to take screenshots of our messages in Slack, no one can catch me out there. Like, you're not ever going to be like, oh, look at Tiffany Hudson. They so no. You could take all, I mean, aside from you would get to see, like, you know, like the trade secrets of like, ooh, don't see how we make our money. No, even that, I share all of that.
Right.
You know? And so like, I like for you to know that we don't talk bad about dream catchers. We don't talk bad about dream builders. We're transparent. We're honest. We're good to each other. Like, you know, so it's so critical that the foundation of your business bubbles up and out, because people see and they feel that. And that's me being the girlfriend, not the guru. Right. That I am here with you. That I might have learned a few things here and there, but as I learn it, think about it. When you see your girlfriend, you're like, oh, girl, when you get your hair done? She just got it done. So she's got that far ahead of you, and she's like, well, here's where I went. Where do you get that shirt from? She just bought it. And so to me, that's really the direction that businesses are going in. Is that's really so being a servant leader and not a guru.
Yep, I love that. So don't be surprised when I do a Facebook Live called a girlfriend, not a guru. I'll give you credit. All right,
so let's start taking some questions, y'all.
Okay.
I know Nicole's been giving some awesome information. All right. So she Tina, you said, how do I find that circle? Tina, get a little bit deeper into what you mean by that circle. I'm not sure what you mean.
Are you talking about the Fierce Framework? Maybe this is what she's talking about. So the Fierce Framework, you can, I'll post it in the group. If I forget, you guys, if I ever say I'm gonna do something, I don't do it, please tag me saying, Nicole, where's the framework? But I will post
that would be awesome. Oh, and also, guys, we're gonna give you. So Nicole is doing a free webinar called Bankroll Your Brilliance. And so if you go to bankrollyourbrilliance.com, you can sign up for that free webinar. I'm going to copy the link. It'll also be inside the Academy like it always is. It'll be on the Facebook page. If you're watching live, I'll post it there like we always do. So you could sign up for, and in Bankroll Your Brilliance, you go over in depth, right? The Fierce framework.
And I go over the framework, but really what I go over is what I call the AVP of being a successful entrepreneur. You know, I figured there's MVP, there's the Grammys. I was like, let me make up my own award. So I do the AVP awards once a year, but it's be the authority. So I really do go deeper into your gift. V is build visibility. So many people leave that out. Okay. I talked a little bit about it here. And then the P, platform to profit. I walk you through the 6 streams of income, and I show you how to really bankroll your brilliance.
Okay.
So
Tina's asking, the circle, speaking with friends and groups of friends you could be open and transparent with. No, when I said that I'm open and transparent, Tina, I meant with y'all.
Everybody.
Like with the dream builders, with the dream catchers. I don't know if you've ever, I don't know how long you've been around, but we've made mistakes along the way, whether it was the incorrect link, whether it was a product or service I thought was dope and it was at first, and then they turned on us.
Right.
You know, so or whether even when we dropped the Academy price, we dropped the Academy price point, and I'm mistaken the math. What I told you guys was going to be. Some of y'all, I made the math wrong. Y'all was writing me. So this is what we call y'all. When you write us mad in customer support, here's a little soup. We call y'all spicy. We're like, child, it's a spicy one in the email. I'm like, what do we do? And then, you know, so the transparency is there, meaning that if I make a mistake, one, I say, oops, literally, I made a mistake. Here's the specific mistake I made.
Right.
Here's why that mistake was made. You know, my math was wrong. I used the wrong website, whatever that was. Here's how I'm going to fix it. I apologize. Here's how I'm going to fix it. And usually here's some sort of like reparation for you. Do you want A, B, or C?
Right.
And so that's what, you know, that's what I try to do, is that making sure, because we're not going to be perfect. My team knows. I see Nadine is watching, Yadalise is watching. These are team members, right? And so they know that, like, my biggest thing is I tell them all the time, I don't care if you make a mistake. Right. It does not bother me. Right. You know, we're not going to be perfect.
Right.
And your mistake didn't kill nobody, right? Yadalise, I'm always like, well, did you kill somebody? Oh no! Oh, okay, well, we did that, right? Right. That all we do is we acknowledge, we apologize, we offer specific solutions. That's it. Acknowledge, apologize, offer specific solutions.
And learn the lesson and learn from it. Because anytime you
Yes.
make a mistake, you learn something from it. So.
Exactly. Add that to the checklist, right? At least I'm always like, well, girl, add that to the checklist. So we know to check every link, right?
Right.
And so yeah, so let's ask some questions of Nicole. Like, what are some questions you have about bankrolling your brilliance? Whether you have a business already, whether you want to have a business, because now Nicole jumped. That's a tremendous jump from $13,000 to $200,000 in a year. That's tremendous,
And all it was I got 3 more streams of income and really got clear on who my ideal client was and what their problem was. That really was all the difference.
Okay. So Amora asked, how do I determine what my gift is? Do you have a questionnaire you can use? She can use?
So that's funny. So in I have a framework assessment that I walk you through. It's in one of my programs though. So Position to Profit is that program. So literally part of it is the 4 P's I just walked you through. So if you take the time and really dig deep in the 4 P's, and again, I'll post it in the group. It's what are you passionate about? Proficient. What problem does it solve? And what profit can you make from it? That really is a part of that assessment.
Okay. All right. Keep asking your questions. Y'all be loving to wait till the last minute for all your questions, like the Kermit the Frog meme. Right? We're about to log on, and I get 70,000 questions.
Right.
So ask your questions. I have a question. So, how do you know because there were different streams that I created that, how do you know what stream is the right stream to go into, that this is going to be more trouble than it's worth? Or even though, like you said in the beginning, not all money is good money.
Good money, right.
How do you kind of know as you're kind of creating these streams, what's good money, what's bad money?
So I always say it like this. There's Dinah Ross and then there's the Supremes, right? Okay. Or you could say there's Beyonce and then there's Destiny's Child. So I always say, what's the thing that people are coming to you the most? Start with that first.
Okay.
That should be the Dinah Ross.
Okay.
Over time, you'll understand what should be your signature program, right? What's the one thing that is a heavy hitter that everybody asks about? So again, if you don't know, it's taking time to understand your client and doing an assessment and looking at who they are and what they're asking you for. And if you don't know, go ask. What do you need?
Okay.
Right. And again, whatever is the common denominator. That's why I say it's the Dinah Ross, because it keeps standing out ahead of everybody else. So it's just getting clear on what that is. And then I would start with that.
Okay. Okay.
Now, here's the other thing. Some people are going to say, but I'm good at 3 or 4 different things, right? I'm going to say that. Let me just answer this question, because when I say that, that's the second that seems to always come up. I get that you're good at 3 and 4 other things, but let me say this. A confused mind does not buy.
Okay.
I'm going to say it one more time, because somebody just needed that today.
Somebody need to type that in. That's a word.
A confused mind doesn't buy. Yes. So if I am a real estate agent and I'm an image consultant and I also sell insurance, they're going to be like, well, hold on. Do I go to Nicole for this or this? Now, I'm not saying you can't do all 3 things, but you need to do one thoroughly, successfully. Let people know you for this one before you start the second. Again, we talked about twins earlier. But if you don't, what happens, your brand gets watered down and they don't know what the heck to know you for. So let your brand, like if Tiffany started a clothing line today, she's straight because she's a budgetnista. People know her, right? And they'd be like, oh, so her clothes going to be on budget. Okay, cool, right? Because everybody knows who she is now. But if Tiffany did this 5 years ago, people would be confused. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Is she going to help me with my budget? She's going to be buying a dress.
So this is what I call that. I call that the difference between a tree business and a bush business, right? So a tree business is the trunk of the tree. It's got to grow strong.
Come on.
And then you can branch out.
Come on, that's
After
good.
you have that one strong tree trunk of trust, that one specific thing that you do. Then literally Nike had a strong tree trunk of, we sell running shoes, right? Right. And now Nike has water, watches, clothes, this and that, but they can branch out now because they have the strong trunk. Now, if you want to be, that's a tree business. Now, if you're a bush business, this is a bush business. Boom! All things all at once. And what does it do? Stunts its growth. A bush doesn't get as high as a tree.
Nope.
Right? Because you're doing too many things at once and you have like exploded onto the scene. So it doesn't mean that you can't be, that your business won't do okay, but you are never going to excel as high as a tree if you're bush business and you kind of pop all of your ideas out at once.
I love
so be a tree business, not a bush business.
Be a tree. Get those roots deep, deeply rooted, and before you start your second.
Exactly. So Valerie says, how do you find a way to price your gift in an affordable way?
So the fact that you're saying affordable,
I knew.
What makes you think it has to be affordable? Yeah. So you got to understand that let me tell you what someone asked me. I have a Q&A session I do once a month with my group, and somebody asked me about. She said she needed to find a job, right? And I said, so how do I afford? I said, baby, you don't afford it. You need to go find a job and you need to eat. So the fact that you're saying affordable means that you are already discounting your greatness.
Yeah.
Number one. So I need you to stand clear that you are a gift. And that gift in you is the answer somebody's looking for. So that's number one. Number two, you have to now I remember my coach said this to me and it made me uncomfortable. So if I make you uncomfortable, welcome to the club. So my coach told me that whatever price I ask, if it's uncomfortable, that's the price I need to ask for.
Okay.
Because
and also too, I mean, to offer I understand what you're saying, Valerie. So here's the thing. There has to be, so my business model, I'm a social entrepreneur, meaning that from the very beginning, it was my intention to be of service above all else. So, but not everyone's part of this business model. So this is just my personal business model, that my first thing is people. So that means it's got to be right for y'all. Purpose and passion, that means it's got to be right for me on the inside. And then profit. If it works for people and it works for my own personal passion, even if it doesn't make a profit, because of my business model, I do it anyway. That is my business model, but only because I've gotten to a place where I can say that.
Right.
So in the beginning, I was like, what? Yes. What? I'll say, but now, so I couldn't,
things going now.
Exactly. Right. So that was, but so like now, so that's why the Academy, I slashed the price almost in half, because I really wanted to get back in alignment. Now that I wasn't digging my way out or whatever, I said, you know what? I can still make a ton of money with half the price and have more people be able to have access. But we have 500,000 dream catchers worldwide.
Right.
We got 13,000 Academy members, $10 a month. You do the math. Right. I mean, if you're watching this 5 years from now and we're $20 a month, sorry, you missed out on the deal, but whatever. You do the math. Right. That's over $100,000 a month. That's over $1 million a year. I can do that now.
Right.
You know? And so but in the beginning, you have to make sure that you stabilize yourself, so that way you're able to, and two, I don't discount for corporations. You got it. It's y'all. Y'all are my sisters,
Exactly.
Yeah. So just be mindful.
And let me just say this too. You want to have tiered programming. So you might have an entry level program, right? Yeah. And then you have a middle tier. And then I always say your one-on-one should be the highest way someone can work with you, because it's taking your time, right? So first is really looking at what do you value your time at for that one-on-one. And then literally, I always say and you do this when you do a business plan, do a comparison analysis and see what other people are charging out in your marketplace, not because you're trying to copy, but you want to understand what kind of is happening in your marketplace so that you can be comparable to that.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
I agree. No, I love it. Honestly, I see. So remember, y'all, when we wrap up here, it's critical that you go into the Dream Catcher group. So that is a group where all y'all sisters are there. It's our biggest platform, and you let them know how dope Ask the Expert is. And then you also go to the Dream Builder group and you tag Nicole and you just thank her or share like an aha moment. We still have a few more minutes, but I just want to remind you that I always ask you to go to both groups. One, Dream Catchers, because so many Dream Catchers don't know that we exist, And so we're really trying to move folks past just budgeting and savings and debt and move them toward really creating wealth and living a richer life, expanding to things like this, because this is not available to Dream Catchers, So, and then going to the Dream Builder group, just letting folks know who missed out tonight for whatever reason. They're like, you need to get your life and go to the Academy and watch this lesson I watched tonight. All right, let's answer a few more questions. Okay. Yadalise asks, how do you keep yourself committed to the process while you still have a 9-to-5?
Okay. So there is a system I created called Equalize, and I'm going to share a quick piece with you. So number one, you've got to be strategic with how you use your time. Okay. So I created this system. I had 2 daytime jobs, by the way, and did my thing at night. Don't ask me how. I think I had lost my mind. And my bonus children were 12 and 14 then. So I had them too. So I had to do the mommy stuff too. So literally I began to look at every hour of my day. So number one, I started getting up at 4 a.m. Did I like it? No. But I was committed to getting my business built. So from 4 to 6, I had my time, right? Then 6, I get them up, do breakfast, what have you. I then go to work. Every day at lunch was mine. I close my door. And if you don't have a door, go sit in your car. If it's winter, put your heat on. And I'd have a client at 12 or do work. right? Go home, come home, make dinner, and literally we eat dinner from 7 to, I think it was 7 to 8:30 when they were here, because you know we had joint custody. For 7 to 8:30, I'd come back in my office. 8:30, I'd do, you know, bed ritual, and then I'd be back in my office. So I worked at least 5 or 6 hours in my business every day. So you've got to start to get committed to how much are you willing to invest to grow your business. Now, a lot of people will tell you to quit your day job. I don't tell you to quit your day job. Okay. Because you need to be able to eat. There's no way you want to build and struggle.
Yes.
Okay. So where your income from your daytime job may be here and your current business is here, you've got to begin to spend that time so that this business can grow and outgrow, and you don't quit your job until you're making at least this much month over month, year over year, or past it, right? But the only way you're going to get to that, and this is why I always suggest and really, really highly have my clients make their first program an online program, because you don't have to be present. You know, most of my clients are women working at, you know, CEOs or executives working a 9 to 5, and they're making money while they're at their 9 to 5 because they have an online program. So really, literally, I would say, number one, you got to start planning out every minute of every day. Every single minute of every day. And looking at how to use your Saturday, how to use your Sunday. Some Saturdays you're going to tell your girlfriends, I can't go to brunch this Saturday. Now, I'm not saying let all those brunches go, because you need your personal time too. Don't let that fall behind. And I'm not saying you don't need dates and all that. You need all that stuff too, but you've got to be strategic with how you use your time.
Okay. Victoria asks, how do you monetize social patient services, i.e. midwifery, chiropractic, counseling?
So the question is, who's your ideal client? Is it the hospital? Is it the person? So you may have a few different ideal clients, right? So it's looking at who is your ideal client. And then once you identify that, so like, let's say, for instance, your ideal client is a hospital, then looking at in a hospital's budget. Now, this is not my expertise, so I'm going to say stuff that may not be right, okay? So within a hospital budget, what do they have allocated to pay for that? And how do you become one of the midwives on the roster? Does that make sense? So that it sounds to me that you don't want to work a full-time job. I get that. But how are you on call with several hospitals if that's what you choose, right? Or how do you look at finding community? So what I would do was, and this is me talking, I'd go into Mocha Mom groups and start doing surveys and ask questions. People that have already had kids, how did they find their midwives? How did they, you know, so I would do a survey and really understand your client's needs and really understanding which one, and both could be your client. Hospitals, you're going to market different. Or healthcare systems, you're going to market different than you're going to individuals. And then some individuals may not want to pay you. They might just want to walk through a class, a group. You know, so it's just really looking at how you can serve their need and what their need is specifically.
Love it. Naturally sweet dessert girl. This is a question after my own heart. She said, I have a vegan bakery. I'm a new vegan. I lost 15 pounds of love weight. So my husband is not happy because he was like, where's your behind? You know, black men. She said, I have a vegan bakery and help people to transition to a plant-based diet. Holla at me.
Me too, because I'm going to try. I've been saying that for a long time, and then I started and I stopped. Then I smell some bacon or something. But anyway,
right? It's hard, child. She said, what streams of income can I create? I can already tell you. I need what is a food, not a menu. What's the thing I'm saying? A meal plan.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Well, so naturally different ways. There's so many. First of all, I was talking to a chef and I said, first of all, do you know? And she was telling me, I'm going to keep it all the way real. She was saying she wanted to get a TV show. I said, I'm going to tell you now that it's going to be hard for you to get a TV show, because most TV stations will look at your following. How much following do you have? And she looked at me. I said, so if you started a YouTube channel and start doing shows, now here's the thing, she gets a following. Now, if you use Tiffany, for example, Tiffany has a free group and she has a group of people that pay. You imagine how many busy women want like me, and I've been trying to be vegan and I quit, so I probably need you. I'm being real. But looking at all the different ways you can serve in a group, one-on-one, you can only do one-on-one so much. You can't cook for everybody. What if you walk through lessons, you know, like every night at 8 p.m. EST, I'm gonna walk you through a lesson. Let me hurry up, or 7:30, whatever time. So I can walk through with you, but I got to pay for that. So it's looking at all the ways. And by the way, those could be recorded. You ain't got to be there.
What about Sunday night? Like, for me, for example, Sunday night's usually like the nights that people cook. What if every Sunday night I pay a subscription of $10 a month, and on Sunday nights, literally I get a video in my inbox, or Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, And it's you walking through like the morning before, or like, you know, every Monday you send me a list of ingredients I'm gonna need.
Yep. Yep.
On Sunday, I know, okay, I'm gonna watch my cooking video and cook along with you.
Right.
And that's my subscription of $10 a month. Child, I'll pay for that now.
Right. Right. Me
Tell me
too.
what to buy and be like, okay, Monday you have a whole week to get your ingredients. Sunday, you know, we're gonna cook. And it doesn't have to be live. You've recorded that video. So literally I got my computer, because literally this is what I do anyway. Like I'll pull up my computer and I'll like, you know, like watch YouTube videos, but it's hard. Instead of trying to figure it out, I would pay a subscription to kind of go and be like, okay, she said, get these things. Okay, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna, like, I honestly, I think that there's so many things you could do, videos, meal plans, things that you don't have to do. And
here's the thing, you could start a whole, now there's 20 million different ideas we're gonna give you, but number one, I'm gonna say to you, let me stop and put my coaching hat on. I'm getting excited because I want to be a vegan. So one is really creating your formula. Okay, so your formula would then say, in what ways do people need you, right? Is it teaching people how to train? And some of this you might not feel, and it's all good. That means it's not your proficiency. So I just want you to get that. So is it helping people transition from, you know, into a vegan lifestyle, which could be a whole coaching group program, right? Is it, like Tiffany just said, teaching cooking, which is another modality? Is it, you know, so it's several different layers, and that means there's several different ways and different types of programming, because some of that could be you present, some not present. You not present is cheaper than you present.
Yeah.
Right? So it's looking at all the different ways that we can monetize that. So Tiffany gave you a bunch. I just gave you a few. So
and just know this, that this is what I found is that as you're doing the actual work itself, so you're delivering the actual program, product, service, whatever, you can periodically check in with brands that are in alignment. So like really starting like last year, I started getting good money from brands. I mean, I'm actually going to be signing a 6-figure contract with a brand.
Good for you.
You know, so 2018. But that's only because in the beginning, when I first started, brands were like, cute, nobody cares. And then it was like, oh, even cuter, still don't care. Or it was like, cute, here's a little bit of money, just a little bit, right? And so more and more, but I mean, but I wasn't, there are people who chase brands thinking like, it's going to be the end all be all.
Right.
I did the work, and the work got me a following and got me media and got me all of these different things. And then I would just check in, and every once in a while, maybe at first a blog post was 1,500, and then an Instagram post was maybe 800. And slowly but surely, as I did the work more and got better, now all of a sudden my brand money, I'm like, wow, I suspect for 2018, depending when you're watching this, well, for 2018, next year, I will probably make, I don't know, maybe $200,000 to $300,000 in brand money.
Good for you. That's great.
But that's just brand money. But that's not my focus. Like I because brands are very fickle, you know, they're very
But that comes when you do the work. And so going back to the woman that's a chef, and I met her somewhere, she's like, well, I want to do a TV show. So if she did this, like you look at Tiffany's following, brands are coming to her. So for that chef, if she did this work, and you got to put in the work, but see, Tiffany's a servant. So the question becomes, you know, how do you want to serve people the way they need it? How are you going to now want?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what they need. Yeah. And usually if you're in your passion, your proficiency, what you want is going to align with what they need. But as you do that, you create a following, and then money just comes.
Yeah.
I started doing corporate work this year. And I'm not a corporate girl. I never worked in corporations. I don't speak corporate talk. And one of my clients works at a huge bank. And I was helping her build her brand alongside building her business. And she said, we need you in here. And I said, okay. And then I called my friend that does corporate coaching. I said, girl, I don't know what words to say because I got to do a proposal. Is right. So I got my little corporate speak together. But I'm only saying that because now corporations, I haven't been trying. Corporations have been calling me. I'm like, who told you about me?
Yes.
You know, so, and corporate money is good money. So, yes. I'm going to turn it down. But, right. And I do the same stuff. It's called Fierce Effect at Work. It's the same stuff I do with entrepreneurs. And here's the reason I'm sharing that with you is once you start to package your gift in one way, others will come.
Yes. I mean, I wish we could like scream that from the top that it's hard when you first start because you can't see it. But once you really I just cannot overexpress that enough. That once you do the actual work and the thing that you're doing in the blueprint that Nicole talked about, in creating the framework and creating your programs, once you do that, other opportunities will open up. I promise you. Like there's literally, I was telling my husband, I said, like literally, I was having like not an anxiety attack, but I feel like before we got on, I always pep up when I get a chance to teach because it infuses me. Before this, I was telling Nicole, I'm like, I'm tired. I had a little raggedy black t-shirt on, and I almost was going to wear it. Then Nicole looked all cute. I said, let me change this raggedy t-shirt.
And then I told her what I have on at the bottom, so.
I know, we both got our pajama pants at the bottom. I said, let me take this raggedy black t-shirt. Nicole on here looking cute. Let me take my hair down. I'm tired. And I'm tired because the number of opportunities coming my way are mind-blowing. I cannot keep up. Yeah. And so not in a tired, bad way, but I've been at this for many years. And because of the work and actually serving y'all, people who I wasn't even are like tapping me, Tiffany. And I'm like, oh, literally, it's like raining money and income and opportunities. But that's only after years of doing the work, not chasing these random one-off opportunities, creating opportunities internally.
Yes.
And so just know that people are watching you. They're waiting for you to get to a certain level before they come in and say, hey, I too would like to align myself with you.
Right. That's so good. That's so good.
Yep. Ooh, this was good. Right? You don't have me be up tonight like, you know what? Let me put a little extra work in. Because I sure was like, after this, I'm going to sleep. But you gave me a little extra pep in my step that I needed. So I just want any last words of huge wisdom that you'd like to share?
You know, that now here's the thing. So many people discount their greatness. So 2018, I'm claiming that year to be the year of elevate. So I'm going to challenge all of you guys, whatever you're doing, it's time for you to elevate the way you're doing business, the way you are, even those of you that don't want to start a business, the way you work in your job. It's time for you to elevate your gift. So the charge I want to leave for you is those of you that are not making the money you desire and deserve, please enroll for BankrollyOurBrilliance.com.
Yes.
I'm going to give you everything end-to-end you need, right? That's one. Second, what could you do if you were willing to do it afraid?
I love that. Nicole?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I was like, look, you said.
Yeah, bye. Drop the mic and I walked away.
I know, right? She sure did. I was like, hello? So, BankrollyOurBrilliance.com is a free webinar. So, hello, y'all know I love me some free. So, bankroll your brilliance. No, and say that again. Amora would like for you to say that again. What would you say that again, please?
What, bankroll your brilliance?
No. What would you do if you would be willing to
do it afraid?
Yep.
What would you do if you'd be willing to do it afraid? I shared, I think it was on Wednesday, on Facebook Live, that there's a difference between wanting and willing. Wanting is dreaming.
Hold on now. I need to let that marinate. In my spirit, it spoke to me. There is a difference between wanting and willing. If you didn't get your life with that, yes, girl, please.
You can want it and want it and want it and want it and talk to people about it and dream about it and pray about it. And you can do all that, but that's wanting. And even the Bible says faith without works is dead. So there's a difference between wanting and willing. So the question is, are you willing to do what it takes to get it?
Yes.
And you're gonna have to do it afraid. If you want it, if you really want it, if it's bigger than where you already are, it's gonna expand your territory. It's gonna push you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So the question is, are you willing to do it afraid?
It's supposed to be hard. Newsflash. People are like, I was telling my husband today because he was like, oh, I want to try this thing. I said, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be to separate those who are able to maintain the gift they're asking for and those who are not. Because you don't understand that it is going to take more work to maintain that level of success than it is to get there. So if it's easy, you will not have the skills necessary to stay here. You don't understand, like where I am now, I thought this part, getting here was hard. Child, this right here. It's like, but honestly, I call upon all of those lessons, all of those mistakes, all of those things. It is the only reason why I've been able to maintain the budget needs to the academy, because of all the lessons, the hard lessons I learned getting here. And I'll leave you with this. So I was talking to my sister and she was telling me she wants to do something. And I was like, girl, you ain't even started. I've been talking about this for a year. And I said, don't confuse hard work with the work required. It's like the wanting and willing. So are you willing to do the work required? That's not hard work necessarily. The work required might be an extra 3 hours after this Ask the Expert for me. The work required might be, you know what? I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but you know what? I still have to fly out to Boston. I still have to. The work required, sometimes it's not even as hard as hard work. For some, it might not require all this week.
Right.
So like, don't think because you're hustling, you're doing all this stuff. Is that what's required for the goal that you're asking for?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to do the work required, that is the difference between wanting and willing. Are
Yes.
you willing? You know, and if you are, you will find that you are in a small minority, because most people are not. And when you
Mm-hmm.
get to a certain level, you will find that there's not much competition around you.
Yep.
Because most people are not willing to do the work required. So once I've gotten to a certain level, I started to look. I said, well, dang, hello, it's hardly anybody up here, right? And so
Right.
but down here, where the work is a little bit easier, oh, it's full of people. But
Yep,
once you
say
step
that.
it up and level up and level up and level up, you start to realize that the competition is you.
Yep,
So
say
yeah,
that.
yes,
That's good.
yes.
That's
So
good.
Tina wants to know, Nicole, what is your website that shows your programs?
So NicoleRobertsJones.com. You can go to
Okay.
FierceFactorLab.com or NicoleRobertsJones.com. And really, the only program that's there is Fierce Factor, which is my signature program. So,
Okay.
but go to Entrepreneurs, you'll see it. And I will, again, post the Fierce Framework in the Dream Builders group.
Yes. And so all of those, like those websites and stuff, Nicole, if you could just send them to my team, because we'll put all of that inside the academy, so that way everybody can have them. So you'll have the free webinar, which is Bankroll Your Brilliance, but you'll also have her website, and you'll also have where you can see her programs. Thank you so much. Again, Dream Builders watching, 2 pieces of homework, because when you teach, you learn twice. When you share, you learn twice. 1, you're gonna head to the Dream Catcher group. You're gonna say, this was awesome. Ask the expert inside the Live Richer Academy. Whatever it is awesome. But I'm asking for a favor. When you share it, and with join me here at joinlra.com. That is the website for people to sign up for the academy and to lock in our low rate that we have now. Join LRA for LiveRicherAcademy.com. Favor number 2, not even favor, this is for you. So that's favor number 1, is just to go into Dream Catchers, share what you learn, say, join me here, joinlra.com, but then go to Dream Builders, tag at Nicole Roberts Jones, and tell her an aha moment, something that you learned, something amazing. Just say thank you, but make sure you tag her and use the hashtag #AskTheExpert for both of them, so that way she can find it. Thank you, thank you, thank you
Thank
so
you for having
much.
me. This was fun. Yay.
Yes, you are amazing. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I know, right? You're welcome, Dream Builders.
You are funny, girl. You are funny.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Bye.